Chapter 71. Both are disappointed with Yu Xiaogang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As a titled Douluo and Rakshasa's heir, even Bibi Dong's concealed aura, with its slightest leak, set off alarms, drawing wary eyes to her location. Yu Xiaogang recognized her instantly, the old name slipping out, Donger. His tone was tender, tinged with sadness. Lu Erlong, aware of their history, felt a surge of anger, but she didn't fault Yu Xiaogang for clinging to the past. Instead, she unleashed her fury on Bibi Dong, heedless of consequences. You're supposed to be a woman of stature. How low can you stoop, chasing after another woman's man? Have you no shame? Erlong. Yu Xiaogang seemed to snap to attention only after Lu Erlong's barrage. He tried to hush her, warning her not to speak recklessly. Seeing this unfold, Chu Zhao's gaze immediately shifted to Bibi Dong. Her face remained a mask, but her eyes were locked on Yu Xiaogang. The world around her seemed to fade into irrelevance. Lu Erlong, with her fiery temperament, wouldn't stand for disrespect, especially when it came to someone she despised. She planted herself in front of Yu Xiaogang, resuming her attack on Bibi Dong. Still staring, huh? You really came for Xiaogang. You're a disgusting woman. You dumped him in the first place, and now that he's with me, you're trying to claw your way back. Chu Zhao, watching from the sidelines, wanted to cheer, talk about guts. Did she realize who she was talking to? This was the Pope of the Spirit Hall, a woman at the apex of the continent, unmatched in power, strength, and beauty. Bibi Dong was being remarkably patient with Lu Erlong. A mere soul saint had repeatedly overstepped in front of her, even titled Douluo like Jian Dao Chen Xian wouldn't dare push their luck like that. Just when everyone thought Bibi Dong had mastered the art of silent endurance, she finally reacted. A pro knows instantly whether an attack lands, and she knocked Lu Erlong back with a burst of soul power. But she stopped there. Bibi Dong merely pushed Lu Erlong away, stopping short of inflicting any real harm. Yu Xiaogang was completely untouched. Yu Xiaogang was stunned into silence. Even after Lu Erlong was sent flying, he barely glanced her way, remaining rooted to the spot, meeting Bibi Dong's gaze. If Chu Zhao hadn't noticed Bibi Dong's restraint, he would have assumed Yu Xiaogang was paralyzed, unable to move under her pressure. Having dealt with Lu Erlong, Bibi Dong continued to stare silently at Yu Xiaogang, as if they communicated on a deeper, unspoken level. Are we all just chopped liver here? You two are just gonna stare at each other, like nobody else exists. Chu Zhao had seen enough. His attention drifted to Qian Renxue. The man had spent over a decade behind a mask and was quite skilled at controlling his emotions, but Qian Renshue's face was too calm. Chu Zhao knew he was probably silently fuming, plotting Yu Xiaogang's demise 1,000 times over. Yu Xiaogang and Bibi Dong were lost in their silent exchange. Lu Erlong, having been thrown back dozens of yards, staggered back to her feet and stubbornly positioned herself between them once more. Even knowing she was no match for Bibi Dong, she braced herself for another verbal assault. Thankfully, the lover's gaze had broken, and Yu Xiaogang's focus returned from Bibi Dong to Lu Erlong. Erlong, please. Donger also. Address me as Your Holiness the Pope. Bibi Dong cut him off, her eyes hardening, all traces of affection vanished. It was hard to tell if she was truly heartless or just incredibly skilled at hiding her emotions. Regardless, her words snapped Yu Xiaogangs attention back to her. His face was etched with pain and disbelief, raw emotion simmering beneath the surface. Donger. Your Holiness, is that necessary? That Yu Xiaogang was taken aback by Bibi Dong's insistence on formality. Never, in all their history, had he addressed her in such a stilted way. Bibi Dong ignored his question, turning her attention to Lu Erlong, who was being supported by Yu Xiaogang. Who is she? Your wife. Your sister. Is this the best you could do? This is your taste? That Yu Xiaogang's face drained of color in the face of that question. He felt exposed and humiliated. He imagined himself standing in the middle of a crowded city square, everyone pointing and whispering, voices full of ridicule. Of course I'm his wife, his only wife. Lu Erlong blurted out, desperate to avoid hearing any other answer from Yu Xiaogangs mouth. At any other time, it wouldn't matter, but in front of her rival, Bibi Dong, she couldn't show any weakness. To be scorned by her love rival would be unbearable. Perhaps Bibi Dong's demeanor was too intimidating, as Lu Erlong seemed to forget, for a moment, who she was talking to. I wasn't talking to you. Her words hung in the air as the pressure of a tidal Douluo descended, leaving the students of Shrek Academy paralyzed, facing imminent death. Yu Xiaogang, tell me who you're holding. Bibi Dong's voice, amplified by the oppressive power, was terrifying. Yu Xiaogang was terrified into silence. He shifted his gaze between Lu Erlong and Bibi Dong, his mouth opening and closing uselessly, before finally stammering. Donger, don't you already know the answer? Why ask, why put me in this position? His expression was so tortured, anyone unfamiliar with him would think he was experiencing excruciating pain. It seemed like the question had been answered, but it was better not to answer it. Bibi Dong was visibly disappointed by his evasiveness. Lu Erlong was hurt by the response. Too, didn't he have the courage to even name Lu Erlong? Then why did he allow Tang San to address Lu Erlong as he wanted, and why did he allow Lu Erlong to regard herself as his wife, without correcting her once? Neither admit it nor deny it. I already told you, address me as the Pope. How dare a great spirit master address me by my given name? But with that, Bibi Dong turned her back on Yu Xiaogang and began to walk away. Her gaze flicked across Chu Zhao and Qian Renxue, pausing for a moment. There was something unsettling about her stare, particularly as it lingered on Chu Zhao. She instinctively reached for the bracelet on her wrist, then realized why Bibi Dong was looking at them like that. Chapter 72. Her vision is much better than Bibi Dong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chu Zhao's right hand was intertwined with Qian Renshue's left. It happened right when Bibi Dong unleashed her power, and they'd grabbed each other instinctively to dodge. They were afraid of an attack at any moment, so they didn't let go, making it easier to bolt. Now, with Bibi Dong's withering look, Chu Zhao felt even more awkward. His first impulse was to pull his hand away, but Qian Renxue instantly shifted her grip, holding on even tighter. She then wrapped her other arm around Chu Zhao's waist, pulling him close. Hello, Your Holiness, Qian Renxue said, greeting Bibi Dong. Though it felt like a taunt, it was hard to tell what she was trying to provoke. Tiando Crown Prince Xue Qinghe. Are you telling me that this orphan is your future crown princess? Bibi Dong, clearly irritated by their closeness, couldn't help but ask. Yes, Chu is my future crown princess. And with me, Chu's not an orphan anymore. She has me. We choose each other, always. Qian Renxue was definitely trying to get under Bibi Dong's skin. Her words mocked Bibi Dong for her bad taste in men, for falling for someone like Yu Xiaogang. Qian Renxue implied that her standards were much higher, and at least they wouldn't deny each other. The thought of ever liking someone like Yu Xiaogang made her cringe. Very good. Like mother, like daughter, Bibi Dong got the message. After forcing out those two words, she vanished. Bibi Dong was clearly shaken. As she left, Chu Zhao noticed a glazed look in her eyes. Once Bibi Dong was gone, the Shrek Academy members turned their attention back to Chu Zhao, still wanting to know about Tang San's whereabouts, but with Qian Renxue standing up for Chu Zhao, they didn't dare to be as rude as before and instead asked politely. Chu Zhao, did you see Xiao San and the others go that way? That Yu Xiaogang asked the question. He was genuinely worried about Tang San. If Tang San didn't come back, his training plan would be ruined. Where would that leave him? Chu Zhao, disgusted by Yu Xiaogang's reaction earlier, had no intention of answering him nicely. He snapped back, not pulling any punches. Seriously? That was a tidal Douluo, okay? How am I supposed to know where he went? Could you see where the Pope disappeared to just now? That Yu Xiaogangs question was pretty ridiculous in hindsight. His concern for Tang San was obvious. He was afraid of losing the proof that he was a theoretical genius. Zhao, I'm worried about Xiao San too. Xiao Wu finally spoke, her mood clearly down. Seeing so many tidal Douluo must have been overwhelming. I honestly don't know where Tang San and the others went, but you don't have to worry about him. His father took him. He'd never let anyone hurt him. Chu Zhao played dumb, but his tone with Xiao Wu was much gentler. It's not his safety I'm worried about. It's that I might not see him again. Xiao Wu's eyes started to well up. Despite her long life, she didn't have many real friends, so she cherished the ones she had. Don't sweat it for now. He'll be back at Shrek Academy eventually. I overheard them talking about watching Tang San compete in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy tournament before he left. Chu Zhao told the truth, and Yu Xiaogang visibly relaxed. It's good he's coming back, good he's coming back. Yu Xiaogang, who had been so tense, suddenly looked relieved and even smiled faintly. Tang San was probably his true love. At the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy tournament, I'll use this grand competition to establish myself as a master of theory, so the entire Spirit Master world will look up to me with new eyes and recognize me as a true master, Yu Xiaogang thought to himself, determined to win. He had studied the spirit power levels of the Spirit Masters in previous tournaments. Even top teams that made it to the finals were mostly Soul Master teams. In many teams, the students were only great Spirit Masters. Their Shrek 7 Devils team was far better than teams in previous years. Overall, they were much stronger than the past champions, plus, they'd already defeated the Royal Fighting Team, a seed team from the Heaven Do Empire that always made it to the finals. Their strength was undeniable. The championship was practically theirs. Flanders could step in, and the world would remember Shrek Academy for producing a champion team, and they would remember him as the one who trained these 7 exceptional geniuses. Your Highness, is this the woman you fancy? Yes, teacher. But I've heard rumors from Prince Xuexing and around the empire that she's just an ordinary orphan with an innate soul power of only level 1. Ning Fengji, who'd been watching from the sidelines, suddenly approached Qian Renxue and Chu Zhao. Looking at Chu Zhao with curiosity, he shook his head, as if suppressing a laugh. But if I remember correctly, Miss Chu is only 13 this year, and she is already a soul sect. She has broken the record of the youngest soul sect on the continent. How can anyone call such a talented person mediocre? Then aren't the rest of us just average? Prince Xuexing's judgment is going downhill. Ning Fengji came to this conclusion, labeling Prince Xuexing as someone with bad judgment, ensuring that whenever Prince Xuexing was mentioned, people would remember his poor taste. A 13-year-old soul sect. Flanders, the only one who knew Chu Zhao's true soul power, almost blurted it out. He'd kept it bottled up for too long. Whenever he thought about Chu Zhao's soul power, he felt heartbroken and blamed Tang Hao for forcing him to send Chu Zhao away. It was a waste of his 20 years of collecting and training all kinds of geniuses, calling them monsters. But he missed out on the most talented person, Chu Zhao, in the world. Just thinking about it made him feel terrible, like losing everything in a gamble. I wonder if Miss Chu has joined a sect. If not, you're welcome to join my 7 treasure glazed tile school. We can provide you with the best resources, reducing the obstacles to being with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Ning Fengji finally got to the point. His praise of Chu Zhao wasn't for nothing. Chapter 73 Invitational Tournament. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He was primarily trying to recruit Chu Zhao. The 8 treasures glazed sect's direct descendants all possess glazed tower spirits, making them support-oriented spirit masters with limited attack power. Therefore, they highly value talented spirit masters with offensive capabilities and actively seek to recruit them. Upon witnessing Chu Zhao's strength, Ning Fengji immediately thought of bringing him back to the sect to assist his beloved daughter, Ning Rongrong, similar to how Jian Dao Chen Xian and Gu Rong supported him. When it comes to cultivation resources, the 8 treasures glazed tile sect is second to none. To win Chu Zhao over, Ning Fengji even made such a bold claim, but it's true, the 8 treasures glazed tile sect is one of the wealthiest in the world, and after so many years of development, their resources are indeed top tier. Anyone else would likely be swayed. I'm sorry, Sect Master Ning, but I'm afraid I have to decline. I joined Moonlight City when I was 6. You can probably guess that without a powerful backer, I wouldn't have achieved this level of strength at such a young age. No matter how talented, Moonlight City has treated me well, giving me priority access to resources. I can't go back on my word. Chu Zhao decisively rejected Ning Fengji. He thought that instead of joining someone else, it was better to make himself stronger, so he could do whatever he wanted. Moonlight City. That explains it. Ning Fengji looked at Chu Zhao, and his eagerness faded significantly. Chu Zhao noticed the shift and couldn't help but sigh at the pragmatism of businessmen. She couldn't have known that Ning Fengji held no fondness for Moonlight City after his last visit. Furthermore, when Chu Zhao mentioned Moonlight City, he thought of their highly effective immortal herbs and yuanshi. He assumed Chu Zhao's soul power was built upon these things. Otherwise, he couldn't believe someone could cultivate to such strength on their own at such a young age. He figured Chu Zhao had compromised his foundation and wouldn't achieve much in the future. Even if he did, it wouldn't benefit him, so there was no need for such enthusiasm. Moonlight City is quite good, too. Ning Fengji's composure prevented him from badmouthing Moonlight City, so he offered a mild compliment. I heard from Qinghe that you'll be participating in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Elite Competition. Which academy are you attending? Ning Fengji didn't know much about Chu Zhao. Most of his information was second-hand. He didn't even know which college Chu Zhao attended. Fresno Province, Cloud Advanced Soul Master Academy. Hearing this, the Shrek team, who were about to leave, stopped abruptly. What did you say? You're at Cloud Advanced Soul Master Academy. What's your connection to Team Cloud? Yu Xiaogang turned sharply, his tone slightly agitated. Seeing his strong reaction, Chu Zhao immediately recalled how Xiao Qinyu and the others had been defeated by the Shrek 7 devils not long ago, although, to be fair, they were defeated by Tang San's hidden weapons. Without those hidden weapons, Xiao Qinyu and his team would probably have won. She hadn't expected Shrek Academy to hold such a grudge. Team Cloud is our academy's main team, and I'm the captain. I'll be leading the other 8 members in the upcoming All-Continental High-Level Spirit Master Elite Competition. The application had already been submitted, so it wasn't a secret. You're the captain. Then why haven't you ever participated in the competition? I thought Xiao Qinyu and the others always represented the team. Xiao Wu, caught off guard by the connection between Chu Zhao, Xiao Qinyu, and Wang Sheng, asked with a hint of unease. Those competitions are boring. I prefer to train. Xiao Wu didn't press further, but silently gave Chu Zhao a thumbs up. That answer was very Chu Zhao. All she does is train. No wonder her soul power grows faster than anyone else's. She earned it. Student Chu Zhao, we'd like to have another match with your academy. This time, no hidden weapons. Would that be acceptable? Yu Xiaogang regained his composure and calmly made his request. Earlier, after the royal fighting team was defeated by the Shrek 7 devils, Team Cloud had come up in conversation. It's no big deal that you defeated us. If you're so good, go challenge Team Cloud. Beating them would actually be impressive, Du Guyan of the royal fighting team had said, seemingly trying to start something. Dai Mubai immediately retorted, you don't seem to know that we already defeated your so-called Team Cloud. They weren't all that great. I don't believe it. You must have cheated somehow. Otherwise, how could you have beaten them? Du Guyan immediately accused Shrek Academy without evidence, venting her frustration from the loss. The two sides almost came to blows again. Eventually, Qin Ming, the leader of the Huangdo team and a Shrek Academy alumnus, intervened and diffused the situation. Still, Shrek Academy felt a little uneasy leaving. They thought Du Guyan had a point. Without Tang San's hidden weapons, they probably would have lost the previous match. Their victory felt tainted. Yu Xiaogang had taken that to heart, and when he saw Chu Zhao, he asked for another fight. He wanted to see if they could defeat Team Cloud without relying on hidden weapons. We don't really care about the competition, but the other 8 members of our team are in the academy for final training. They can't leave before the All-Continental High-Level Spirit Master Elite Competition, so, if you really want to compete, you'll have to come to our academy. Chu Zhao smiled slightly and agreed to Yu Xiaogjang's request. But setting the location on their own turf gave them an advantage. Otherwise, if they booked another location, she feared that the madman Tang Hao would pulverize them with his hammer. She had decided to return to Cloud Academy. If Tang Hao went berserk, she would show him the meaning of favorable terrain and a united populace, and what it meant to be easy to defend and difficult to attack. Sure, we can come to your place. Please give us the address. Yu Xiaogang decisively agreed. He was also curious about Cloud Academy. He wanted to see what kind of place could cultivate people with only 1 or 2 levels of innate soul power to become soul masters in their teens. Learning from them would be even better. You're welcome anytime. Chu Zhao tossed the pass token with the address to Yu Xiaogang and gave a knowing smile. Ning Rongrong, standing right behind Yu Xiaogang, saw Chu Zhao's smile and shuddered involuntarily. Chapter 74 Inside Bar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Placing a supportive hand on Ning Rongrong's shoulder, Ning Fengji advised, I suggest you reconsider going to Cloud Academy. As they traveled back from Shrek Academy, Ning Fengji addressed the group. Why? Yu Xiaogang asked, puzzled by Ning Fengji's opposition. President Lu probably visited Moonlight City recently. The true owner of that city is Yunduanyu. If I'm not mistaken, Cloud Academy is backed by him and his Moonlight Corporation. Ning Fengji paused, expecting a reaction from Lu Erlong. He overestimated her. With a genuinely confused and slightly irritated expression, Lu Erlong asked, yes, I did go to Moonlight City. But what does that have to do with us not attending Cloud Academy? Ning Fengji was speechless, wondering if sending Ning Rongrong to Shrek Academy had been the right choice. Maybe Cloud Academy, where Chu Zhao was, would have been better. At least there were intelligent people there. Have you forgotten that when we went to Moonlight City, our soul power inexplicably became unusable? Cloud Academy and Moonlight City are connected. If outsiders attend Cloud Academy, they might lose their soul power too. Ning Fengji sighed, explaining further. Recognition dawned on Lu Erlong, and she immediately flared up, feeling like they'd been played by Chu Zhao. That's outrageous. She actually invited us to Cloud Academy. Does she think I'm a pushover? I'm going to give her a piece of my mind right now. Already volatile, she was now enraged and started to storm off. Fortunately, Flanders quickly intervened, holding her back and trying to calm her down. Hold on a second. We're there to compete. If we can't use our spirit power, what's the point? Are we just supposed to stand there and get pummeled? They probably have a way to suppress the soul power of others, while still allowing their own to function. Our soul power won't just disappear. Seeing Lu Erlong's continued anger, Flanders tried to reason with her. He remembered that Chu Zhao had been incredibly strong even a year ago. After a year, she'd probably be even more powerful. Plus, she had Xue Qinghe, the crown prince, on her side. Lu Erlong, a soul saint, could be walking into a trap. But we might still lose our soul power and be helpless, someone pointed out. I don't see any need to go there and fight again. Didn't they already lose to us? A rematch would just end the same way. Yeah, if you've got time to spare, better to practice hard and reach Soul Sect as soon as possible. Everyone else agreed, fearing for their abilities and safety at Cloud Academy. Yu Xiaogang also valued his life. Upon hearing that Cloud Academy might cause him to lose his soul power, he immediately abandoned the idea. Life's too short, not worth risking it in some contest. They thought of Tang San's unbeatable hidden weapons, deciding to save them so the opponent couldn't figure out how to counter them before the main competition. However, before the competition, the organizer, Spirit Hall, announced a restriction that targeted Shrek Academy. All Soul Masters participating in the All-Continent High-Level Soul Master Elite Competition are prohibited from bringing anything other than food provided by the event. The use of anything besides martial souls, soul skills, and soul bones is also prohibited. This was obviously directed at Shrek Academy, practically stating outright that hidden weapons were banned. Spirit Hall is deliberately targeting us. That's so low. Dai Mubai slammed his fist on the table, furious. The others echoed his sentiments, clearly upset, feeling singled out by the new rule. There had been no such rule before. But then again, no one had ever used hidden weapons with such devastating power before. Besides, their use of hidden weapons gave them an unfair advantage over the other competing academies. Okay, Mubai, calm down. Even without hidden weapons, we're still strong. We have an amazing team made up entirely of Soul Masters. Not to mention, we have 4 Soul Masters already, and Xiao Wu is nearly at that level. Our overall soul power is pretty high. Tang San soothed Dai Mubai. The four soul masters he referred to were Dai Mubai, Tang San, Ning Rongrong, and Shi Yang. Xiao Wu's soul power was currently at level 39. She'd been training hard recently but still couldn't catch up with Shi Yang, which had almost discouraged her. Xiao Wu was definitely putting in the most work at Shrek Academy. Yet, the laziest one, cultivation-wise, was Shi Yang. He spent very little time training each day, yet his soul power continued to increase rapidly. Fortunately, Xiao Wu remembered there was something unusual about Shi Yang, so she adjusted her mindset and continued to focus on her own practice. She'd made some good progress. What are you implying? You're leaving Oscar and me out on purpose. Are you pointing fingers, blaming us for our low soul power and holding you back? Tang San had intended to calm his teammates, but Ma Hongjun felt as if he'd been stabbed. He became defensive. Don't forget, if you hadn't eaten the immortal grass, your spirit power would have dropped 6 levels. You wouldn't be much stronger than us. What are you so high and mighty about? If we'd had those magic herbs and fruits too, we would have reached Soul Sect a long time ago. Ma Hongjun was furious, blaming their lack of soul power on their lack of access to special herbs and fruits. The psychological pressure he'd been under lately was enormous. After awakening his martial soul at 12 years old, everyone had praised him as a young genius destined for greatness, but in the past 2 years, he'd met far more talented individuals, and his soul power ranked at the bottom among the 7. He'd been developing some psychological problems for a while, and Flanders, who had always cared about him, had somehow forgotten about him. No one had noticed Ma Hongjun's mental state. When Tang San heard Ma Hongjun's outburst, he just stared at him in astonishment, unsure of what to say. Ning Rongrong, who wasn't about to be bullied by Ma Hongjun, was quick to stand up for herself. Fatty, what's that supposed to mean? Are you saying we rely on outside help? The fact that we could eat the immortal grass and immortal fruit is our own doing, so quit being salty. And Xiao Wu didn't eat the magic grass, and she's already level 39. Some people are just useless because they're useless. Stop making excuses. Chapter 75, Killer, Centrifugal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In fact, Ning Rongrong regretted her outburst the second it left her lips. She was all set to apologize, knowing she'd spoken harshly out of anger, but before she could even get the words out, a blast of fire came hurtling her way. Who are you calling useless? You're the most useless one here. Fatty. Tang San, shocked and furious, quickly used Tang's sect techniques and his blue-silver grass spirit to shield Ning Rongrong. Nobody expected Ma Hongjun to attack Ning Rongrong, of all people. She was just a support-type soul master, yet he was unleashing his soul skills on her. Judging by the power of the attack, it was definitely his strongest, way beyond anything he'd shown before. If Tang San hadn't reacted fast enough, Ning Rongrong would have been seriously hurt, if not worse, and if she'd been injured, things would have gotten ugly fast. After all, the 7 Treasures glazed tile school wasn't someone you wanted to mess with. Ma Hongjun, you're out of your mind. You almost killed your own teammate. Yu Xiaogang yelled, finally snapping out of his shock. Even though the attack wasn't aimed at him, he was still terrified. In all of Shrek Academy, Ning Rongrong was the most valuable. If anything happened to her, the 7 Treasures glazed tile school would come down on them like a ton of bricks. Fatty, you just slipped up, right? Xiao Wu helped Ning Rongrong up, and Tang San finally had a moment to check on Ma Hongjun, who was clearly not acting right. You've been pushing yourself too hard lately, and something went wrong. That's all this is. He hoped to defuse the situation, so he tried to make excuses for Ma Hongjun. Ning Rongrong was pale and shaky in Xiao Wu's arms. She never expected Ma Hongjun to attack her, especially not so suddenly. Even though Tang San had saved her, she was still terrified. Her heart was pounding, and her limbs felt like jelly. If Xiao Wu hadn't been holding her up, she would have collapsed. Tang San, you're too soft. Ma Hongjun was still simmering with anger, completely missing Tang San's point. He even looked like he was gearing up to go after Tang San next, but Oscar quickly clapped a hand over his mouth, forcing a smile. Fatty was just being clumsy. He's been training too hard and couldn't keep his fire under control. He lost his temper and just couldn't hold back his strength. That's all there is to it. I almost hurt Rongrong. It scared him too. Luckily, Tang San, you were quick on your feet. I really needed your help just now. Oscar was the smartest of the bunch. He immediately understood what Tang San was trying to do and came up with the perfect explanation. He chalked it all up to carelessness and the uncontrollable fire caused by Ma Hongjuan's spirit mutation. After all, there's a world of difference between doing something on purpose and doing something by accident. Oscar kept one hand clamped over Ma Hongjuan's mouth and wrapped the other arm around his stomach, digging his fingers in for emphasis. Only after he finished speaking did he let go. Urging, Fatty, apologize to Rongrong, pronto. They could only hope Ma Hongjun would get the hint. They'd made it pretty obvious. If he still didn't get it, there was nothing more they could do. Fortunately, Ma Hongjun understood that Ning Rongrong was not someone to trifle with. Sorry, didn't mean to. Ma Hongjun mumbled the apology, but he wasn't buying it himself. He didn't think he'd done anything wrong. He was only apologizing to avoid trouble with the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile School. If Ning Rongrong had just been an ordinary soul master, he wouldn't have bothered. After Ma Hongjun mumbled his apology, Ning Rongrong didn't react. She was still clinging to Xiao Wu, tears in her eyes, completely shaken up. Rongrong scared. She's just a support soul master, not a fighter. She's not as tough as we are. You need to watch yourself next time. Tang San kept trying to smooth things over. He didn't want any lasting damage to their relationships. Ma Hongjun, don't let this happen again. Ning Rongrong, even though Ma Hongjun messed up, you shouldn't say things that hurt people. You weren't hurt, so let's just drop it. Yu Xiaogang was even better at damage control than Tang San. He managed to scold both Ma Hongjun and Ning Rongrong, as if they were equally to blame, and declared that they should both just get over it, so things could go back to normal. The Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament was fast approaching, and there was no time to find new teammates. No matter what, the Shrek's 7 devils needed to stay together. Ma Hongjun and Ning Rongrong didn't react. One was still simmering with anger, and the other was still recovering from the shock. Ning Rongrong almost thought she'd imagined it. Ma Hongjuan's eyes had looked so terrifying when he attacked. The black part of his pupils seemed to be bigger, and there was something almost evil about them. For a moment, Ning Rongrong truly thought he was going to kill her. Ma Hongjun didn't respond, so Oscar quickly chimed in, he gets it. It won't happen again. He and Ma Hongjun had been friends the longest, and even though he knew what Ma Hongjun had done was wrong, he still couldn't help but cover for him. This time, the matter was swept under the rug. Many people believed that both Ning Rongrong and Ma Hongjun were at fault. Ning Rongrong shouldn't have said such harsh things and made such cutting remarks, and Ma Hongjun shouldn't have attacked a teammate just because of a few words. But in the minds of a few, Ning Rongrong was the one who was in the wrong, like Ma Hongjun, Dai Mubai, and Shi Yang. The three of them were training close by, in Shi Yang's training room. Seeing that Ma Hongjun was still in a foul mood, the other two tried to cheer him up. Hey, it's not your fault. Your mistake is that you weren't born with the right connections. Ning Rongrong so stuck up because she's the heir to the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. If you'd had her advantages, you'd be even better than her. Dai Mubai clapped Ma Hongjun on the shoulder. Seeing that Ma Hongjun's expression was softening, Shi Yang jumped in. Rongrong went too far. She was twisting the knife. You've worked your butt off to get where you are without relying on anyone. A soul master like you at 13 or 14 years old is pretty rare. Ning Rongrong's only a little better than you because of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. And Xiao Wu is in a different league from all of you, so there's no use comparing yourself to her. Chapter 76, Xiao Wu #039, Guest Soul Beast Identity is becoming more and more impossible to hide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To butter up Ma Hongjun, Shi Yang decided to downplay everyone else. What makes her so special? Just because she was born with full soul power. I mean, Tang San was also born with full soul power, but he's not leveling up as fast as she is. Dai Mubai picked up on that last part and jumped in, not as fast, that they'd known for a while that Xiao was holding something back, that he knew more than he was letting on. They're not even close. It's not even the same ballpark. Xiao was struggling with something. He'd been tempted to warn Tang San that Xiao Wu was actually a 100,000-year-old spirit beast, that her real identity would be exposed in the finals, which would draw the spirit hall's attention and cause a whole heap of trouble, but every time he tried to say 100, his head started to throb, and the word just wouldn't come out. What do you mean, not even close? They both have innate full soul power. Is it because one has a beast spirit, and the other has a useless spirit, like blue silver grass? Dai Mubai pressed him, winking at Ma Hongjun to play along and try to get Xiao to spill the beans. That's definitely not it, Boss Dai. Remember? Tang San's got twin spirits. One of them is the clear sky hammer, which is supposed to be the best weapon spirit there is. Ma Hongjun chimed in, pointing out the obvious oddity. So, Tang San's got twin spirits and maxed out innate soul power, and he's still not leveling as fast as a rabbit? That's messed up. Especially since he works his tail off, training before dawn every day. Xiao had to say something. Xiao Wu's spirit isn't just any rabbit spirit. It's the most powerful rabbit there is. How could the last soft-bone rabbit, 100,000-year-old soul beast, not be the most powerful rabbit? The most powerful rabbit? Seriously? There are tons of powerful rabbits out there, even 1,000-year-old soul beast rabbits. You don't think she's a 100,000-year-old soul beast, do you? Dai Mubai was just throwing it out there, but Xiao's split-second look of panic told him everything he needed to know. He'd actually guessed right. Now Dai Mubai was starting to freak out. No way. It's just that Xiao Wu's spirit is higher quality than other rabbits. Xiao tried to backpedal, but it was too late. His explanation just made him sound like he was trying to cover something up. Dai Mubai didn't call him on it right away, though. He just played along. That's gotta be it. Xiao Wu's rabbit spirit is just top-notch. Something we've never seen before. After ragging on Tang San and Ning Rongrong for relying on outside help for a few more minutes, Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun took off. They walked in silence for a bit, then glanced at each other, fear in their eyes. Boss Dai, you think Xiao Wu's really a 100,000-year-old soul beast? Judging by Xiao's reaction, it's a pretty good bet. Then why isn't he terrified? That's a 100,000-year-old soul beast. She could crush us like that. Ma Hongjun snapped his fingers, just like the Titan ape, the king of the forest. Ma Hongjun was seriously spooked. He was suddenly grateful he'd gone after Ning Rongrong that morning instead of Xiao Wu, or he'd probably be worm food right now. She's in human form, not a soul beast. And she's been hurt in fights. Maybe she's not that strong. Dai Mubai wasn't sure. He figured there was someone who'd know more about it. He and Ma Hongjun looked toward Yu Xiaogang's room. They found Yu Xiaogang and grilled him about 100,000-year soul beasts. You're asking if a soul beast can turn into a human? Yu Xiaogang seemed surprised by the question. Yeah, we want to know if it's possible for a soul beast to morph into a human, sneak into the human world, and then go around killing people. Dai Mubai added, careful not to reveal that they suspected Xiao Wu of being a 100,000-year-old soul beast. According to my research, after a soul beast hits 100,000 years, it can choose to transform. Yu Xiaogang explained patiently. Seriously? So, there could be a 100,000-year-old soul beast walking around? That's gotta be dangerous. We could be standing next to one right now, and it could kill us at any second. Ma Hongjun was getting worked up. He'd never been on the best terms with Xiao Wu, and he had a feeling he'd be first on her hit list. Relax. When a 100,000-year soul beast turns human, it loses its life force. It has to start over, train like a regular soul master. They're not nearly as tough anymore. Yu Xiaogang reassured them, seeing how freaked out they were. And there probably aren't any 100,000-year-old soul beasts around here. They say title Douluo and soul Douluo can sense the aura of 100,000-year soul beast in human form. We've bumped into a few title Douluo in the last couple of years. If we had 100,000-year-old soul beast with us, they'd have found out by now, and the fur would have flown. After all, 100,000-year soul beasts are a valuable resource that everyone's trying to get their hands on. But Xiao Wu, Ma Hongjun almost blurted it out. Luckily, Dai Mubai elbowed him just in time. What about Xiao Wu? That Yu Xiaogang wondered why they'd suddenly brought her up. Nothing. I just remembered I needed to ask her something. Almost forgot. Dai Mubai covered, and after saying goodbye to Yu Xiaogang, he dragged Ma Hongjun away. Boss Dai, you think we got the wrong end of the stick? Maybe Xiao Wu isn't really a 100,000-year-old soul beast. Otherwise, someone would have figured it out by now, right? Ma Hongjun was starting to think they'd misunderstood Shi Yang, but Dai Mubai told him to zip it. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. But either way, we need to keep this under wraps. Don't breathe a word of it to anyone. Right. Xiao Wu's our teammate. As long as she doesn't have the power to hurt us, it's all good. Ma Hongjun didn't give it a second thought and agreed, but Dai Mubai, who was telling everyone else to keep the secret, had other plans. He figured if a 100,000-year-old soul beast was so valuable, he could probably trade it for his own life. If I turn in a 100,000-year soul beast back to my country, maybe I can swap it for the crown prince title. A chance to finally live life right. Chapter 77 The Continental High-Level Spirit Master Elite Competition begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone wants a soul ring from a 100,000-year beast, but those beasts are incredibly rare. And now, here's one right in front of me. Is this some kind of gift from above? Dai Mubai pondered this, but he quickly shook off the idea. I can't do that. Xiao Wu may be a soul beast, but she's never hurt me. We've fought side by side countless times. We're friends, plain and simple. I can't betray my friends just to survive. Even if Davis takes the throne, as long as I stay away from the country and stick around the Tiando Empire, Davis won't be able to touch me. Dai Mubai tried to reassure himself, pushing the thought down. He feared death and wanted to live, but he wouldn't compromise his morals unless his life was truly on the line. However, once a thought takes root, it's hard to get rid of. Any little thing can make it grow, disrupting everything. In the Tiando Empire, in the capital city of Tiando City, stood the Tiando Great Soul Arena. It was here that the opening ceremony for the Tiando Empire region of the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition was being held. When Chu Zhao led her team of 8 into the arena, the Shrek Academy team immediately caught her eye. Their school uniforms were just so out there, impossible to miss them. Hey, Dai Mubai, look. Isn't that Zhu Qing? What's she doing with Chu Zhao? Are they both at Cloud Academy now? Just as Cloud Academy spotted Shrek Academy, they were spotted in return. Oscar, excited, called out to Dai Mubai, urging him to look at Zhu Qing. Dai Mubai's eyes landed on Zhu Qing, but she ignored him. Dai Mubai, always quick to anger, flared up. I'm not blind, I saw her already. Cloud Academy's uniforms were all black, but the material was top-notch, with a subtle shimmer, like a starry night. On the left chest, the Academy emblem was embroidered with gems and silk thread, a pattern of clouds parting to reveal the moon. Among the nearly 30 teams present, few would choose such a dark color, making them stand out. Today was the opening ceremony, with just one match. The Royal Fighting Academy's second team would draw a team at random to play an opening game, just to get everyone hyped. Chu Zhao remembered that in the original story, the Royal Fighting Team 2 picked Shrek Academy, and got crushed in under a minute. A total embarrassment, but then she heard the Platinum Bishop of the Spirit Hall say. For the first round of the preliminaries, Tiando Royal Academy will face Yunduan Academy. Finally, Chu Zhao lifted her head and looked at the people on the platform. Just then, she noticed that everyone was looking at her. There was definitely something fishy about this draw. I didn't expect we'd be up first. Talk about luck. This is a great chance for people to see what Cloud Academy is all about. Xiao Qinyu was thrilled, eager to participate. Boss, you gonna go out there and play? Wang Xing asked if Chu Zhao wanted to join. They're putting us first because they're dying to see what I can do. I'm not gonna give them the satisfaction. I don't need to go up there. 7 of you can handle it. That's what Chu Zhao said. In the end, only Chu Zhao and Zhu Zhuqing were left on the sidelines, but the 7 who took the field were enough to cause a stir. Their spirit rings alone were enough to spread like wildfire and become a trending topic. 7 people, all 4 ring soul masters. How is that even possible? There are 9 of them total. I bet all 9 are 4 ring soul sect members. And some of them have crazy spirit ring combinations, white, yellow, purple, and black. The white one, okay, maybe not the best, but the black one. I just don't get it. White, yellow, purple, and black. Isn't the ideal first 4 spirit ring ratio 2 yellow and 2 purple? Didn't some master guy say that in his 10 core theories of martial spirits, that the appearance of these spirit rings dealt Yu Xiaogang another crushing blow? On the other hand, no one even mentioned that Cloud Academy had trounced the Royal Fighting Team 2, because everyone figured the Royal Fighting Team 2 never stood a chance against a team of all Soul Sect members. It was a foregone conclusion, since Cloud Academy hadn't drawn any interesting opponents. Chu Zhao let the other 8 take turns competing until the 7th match. The 7th round of the preliminaries, Cloud Academy vs Tsanhui Academy. Hearing about this opponent finally piqued Chu Zhao's interest. She couldn't remember all the plot details, but she did remember that the 7 members of Tsanhui Academy were defeated by Tang San's Purple Demon Eye, suffering severe mental damage that turned them into idiots. Tsanhui and some soul sage made trouble for Tang San, but were killed by Tang San in return. Also, Tsanhui gave Tang San a high-quality soul bone. I'll take this one. Lin Cheng and Wu Yun, you guys rest up. Chu Zhao dismissed Lin Cheng and Wu Yun, who were injured in the previous match from trying too hard, and led the other 6 to the stage. As soon as Chu Zhao stepped onto the stage, she felt eyes on her from every direction, both obvious and hidden. It was unnerving. Captain of Cloud Academy, Chu Zhao. After Chu Zhao finished speaking, the other 6 members activated their martial souls along with her. Among the 7, only Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul was well known on the continent. The other 6 had martial souls that no one had ever heard of. But that didn't matter, as long as the spirit rings were flashy enough. Zhu Zhuqing is a soul sect master. And her 4th spirit ring is 10,000 years old. How did she get so strong so fast after leaving? Shrek Academy rarely stuck around to watch matches, but they happened to be there and witnessed Chu Zhao and Zhu Zhuqing taking the stage. It was the first time they'd seen Zhu Zhuqing's strength since they parted ways. As soon as Xiao Wu finished speaking, Tang San nudged her and motioned for her to look at Dai Mubai. He noticed that Dai Mubai looked awful, filled with regret. I never expected she'd change so much after leaving. If I hadn't been such an idiot the last few years, I wouldn't have lost her. I could have had a shot at the throne, instead of being where I am now. Watching Zhu Zhuqing move with such grace on the stage, Dai Mubai was filled with regret. If he could do it all over again, he would never have let Zhu Zhuqing go, but regret is never helpful. Back on the stage, not long after the match began, the 7 members of Tsanhui Academy suddenly huddled together. Bringing out their ultimate move so soon. They're eager. Chu Zhao raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Chapter 78. The other party refuses your summons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the arena lights, the Tsanhui Academy captain glared at the Yunhuan team, his voice dripping with arrogance. You're good, I'll give you that. But it doesn't matter. Against raw power, all your tricks and tactics are useless. As he spoke, a blinding, rainbow-colored light erupted, solidifying into a beam that spread like wildfire across the field. In an instant, it had consumed everything. The 7 members of Yunhuan Academy were swallowed by the light. What's happening? In the VIP box, Emperor Shui, visibly shaken, muttered, "Is that a 7-spirit fusion technique?" Ning Fengji quickly dismissed the idea, but the unique soul skill still sent a shiver down their spines. Can they handle something like that? Emperor Shui asked, glancing at Qian Renxue, who sat beside him. Her gentle, elegant smile didn't waver, showing no concern. "Prince, you don't seem worried at all. Relax. It's just a little hurdle for Ah Chu." Qian Renxue smiled knowingly. Her faith in Chu Zhao was unwavering. Someone who's aiming for the championship wouldn't stumble in the qualifying rounds. Many spectators assumed that Tsanhui Academy's 7-in-1 martial soul fusion technique spelled certain defeat for Chu Zhao's Yunduan Academy. Some even couldn't bear to watch, but the moment the rainbow light enveloped the 7 Yunduan members, an even more intense crimson erupted, like the moon piercing through the clouds, a blood-red moon rising in the arena. Against raw power, all your tricks and tactics are useless. I'll throw that saying right back at you. Wherever the crimson spread, the rainbow light dissolved like ice under the sun. Blood filled the arena, from that crimson tide rose thorny thickets, spears sharp enough to kill, shields strong enough to stop anything. When the crimson finally faded, 14 figures stood on the stage. Though it had only taken moments, the 7 members of Tsanhui Academy were already covered in wounds. Their moon-white uniforms were now starkly stained with shocking, crimson blood. You should be thanking your lucky stars that killing's against the rules. Otherwise, you'd be dead right now, with nothing left to bury. The scythe in Chu Zhao's hand seemed to glow even redder, and combined with her tone, she radiated the aura of a death god descending. Chu Zhao had zero sympathy for those who wanted to kill them, or who used such low tactics as torture. Though the 7 opponents were still alive, their wounds only looked bad. There was no real danger to their lives. With proper treatment, they might even be back in the competition in a few days. However, the Grim Reaper's touch lingered within them, a countdown to their demise. Within a month, they would be dead. What just happened? How did the match end so fast? How did they break that soul skill? Looking at the wounds, they seemed like they were made by a scythe. So it was Chu Zhao. She took down 7 people by herself. 7 people using the 7-in-1 martial soul fusion, but because it was so quick, many in the audience were completely lost. Only experienced soul masters recognized that Chu Zhao was the key to victory, and a few suspected that Chu Zhao was holding back. That girl's definitely not a soul sect member. She didn't use her mental power to break the fusion technique, she went with brute force. No soul sect member has that kind of strength. Jian Douluo, standing beside Ning Fengji, was the first to voice his doubts. How can you say that, Uncle Jian? If she's not a soul sect member, what else could she be? Her soul rings are clear as day, right? 2 yellow, 2 purple, that's a soul sect. While Ning Fengji was also shocked by Chu Zhao's power, he couldn't agree that her soul power was higher than that of a soul sect leader. A 14-year-old soul sect member was rare enough. If it was higher, it was unthinkable. 2 yellow, 2 purple. That's the problem. Everyone else on their team has 10,000-year 4th soul rings, so why does she only have 2 ordinary yellow and 2 purple? Jian Douluo was persistent. He felt Chu Zhao's aura and strength far exceeded that of a soul sect leader, even without considering her spirit rings or age. If someone claimed Chu Zhao had the power of a soul sage or soul Douluo, Sword Douluo wouldn't argue. Feng Ji, do you think there's a skill out there that can change or hide the color of spirit rings? And Chu Zhao happens to have it. Jian Douluo asked, watching Chu Zhao leave the arena. He wasn't the only one with questions about her true strength. As Chu Zhao left the Tiando Great Soul Arena alone, heading towards the Moonlight Hotel, she felt eyes on her. She knew she was being followed. Why are you following me without making a move? Aren't you just wasting your time? If you don't do something, I'm going to the hotel. Chu Zhao complained silently and deliberately slowed down. Finally, one of her followers couldn't wait any longer. The scene in front of Chu Zhao warped, an amateurish illusion unfolding before her. Illusions? Please. If you want to fight, just come out already. Chu Zhao stopped. The surrounding scene snapped back to normal. Little girl, you're definitely not ordinary. No wonder you broke my 7-in-1 fusion on your own. But no matter how good you are, you can't beat me. Today, you're going down. Shi Yan stepped out of the shadows, pronouncing Chu Zhao's doom. The all-continental high-level Soul Master Elite competition required age verification. He knew Chu Zhao had to be under 20 to compete. He was convinced no one under 20 could stand against a Soul Saint. I'm afraid it's you who's going down. Chu Zhao responded without turning around. She didn't even want to look at Shi Yan. Hearing his name just annoyed her. Why was she getting dragged into this? Wasn't Shi Yan supposed to be giving Tang San a soul bone? Grandpa Jinzi, I'll leave this one to you. Chu Zhao didn't want to fight. She called upon Jin Douluo, her secret bodyguard, but he declined. That's it? A soul saint? You're nowhere near my level. You should work on your own strength with that little bit of power. Chapter 79, Heaven #039, S Wrath, Thunder Punishment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seriously? A soul sage? You're not even in my league. You need way more practice with that little bit of power. Chu Zhao was taken aback by Jin Douluo's telepathic message, rendered speechless for a moment. Chu Zhao. I paid a fortune to hire you, not just to be a spectator, but Jin Douluo ignored her completely. If Chu Zhao hadn't sensed his presence nearby, she would have been furious. She knew Shi Yan wasn't the only one following her from the shadows. The others must have been dismissed by Jin Douluo after exchanging a few words. Fine, let's see how close I am to becoming a soul saint. With that, Chu Zhao swung her sickle at Shi Yan. The black sickle flashed with a bloody light as it cut through the air. Chu Zhao immediately activated her Death God's domain. Within its boundaries, she was the master. Every living thing inside was subjected to the Death God's influence. Shi Yan felt like his life was about to end, as if he were facing the Grim Reaper instead of an ordinary girl. That's a talent domain. How old are you? How can you possess something like that? The voice belonged to someone Chu Zhao recognized. His hair was a mess, his clothes were ragged, and his cloudy eyes burned with a fierce intensity as he stared at Chu Zhao. It was Tang Hao. His appearance was marked by an undisguised murderous intent. Ignoring the fact that Chu Zhao was already dealing with a tough opponent, he was about to eliminate what he saw as the biggest threat, but a blinding golden light stopped him. Well, if it isn't Haotian Douluo. I've heard so much about you. Finally, Jin Douluo, who had been lurking in the shadows, emerged the moment Tang Hao showed up. He was decked out in gaudy attire, wearing clothes woven with gold and silver threads and adorned with flashy gems, radiating wealth. Standing side by side, one man looked like a nouveau riche, and the other like a beggar. You're Jin Douluo. The one who just broke through to title Douluo a few years back. You, the weakest of the titled Douluos, actually think you can stop me, the most talented one. Tang Hao dismissed Jin Douluo. He saw Jin Douluo, a relative newcomer to the titled Douluo ranks, as weak, so weak that any titled Douluo could defeat him. I can't help it. I have to stop you even if it means getting my butt kicked. That little girl is my benefactor and employer. I'm not about to be ungrateful. Jin Douluo knew he was no match for Tang Hao, but he wasn't backing down. If you're so eager to be a hero, I'll just kill you first. Tang Hao then swung the clear sky hammer towards Jin Douluo. The two were soon locked in combat. Similar to Chu Zhao facing Shi Yan, the two sides had a huge gap in strength, and it seemed that they were bound to lose. Chu Zhao knew Jin Douluo wouldn't last long, so she abandoned her original plan to use Shi Yan as a practice dummy, deciding to end the fight quickly and decisively. Shi Yan might not be the strongest fighter, but he excelled at stealth and escape. Chu Zhao's Death Scythe soul skill failed to land a hit. Then let's try something else. This could be a good way to take on two at once. Deciding on her next move, Chu Zhao stowed away the Death Scythe martial spirit. Giving up already? Shi Yan sneered. Just as he finished, Chu Zhao's left hand began to glow, and something new materialized. A soul ring appeared silently beneath her feet, flickering softly. Before Shi Yan could react, purple gold leaves began to drift down. No matter how nimble he was, he couldn't avoid them. Not only was he unable to dodge, Tang Hao's strength was also not enough to dodge the leaves. He could only watch the seemingly light leaves floating on their bodies. Then, a deafening thunderclap erupted. Purple-gold lightning bolts shot from the clear sky, striking Shen Yan and Tang Hao with lightning speed. This was Chu Zhao's fifth soul skill from the Seed of Life martial soul, Wrath of Life. It originated from the 60,000-year-old soul beast, the thunder-winged tiger. After completing several tasks and amassing numerous rewards, Chu Zhao had successfully transformed it into a 100,000-year soul ring. The Wrath of Life embodied the fury of heaven and thunder. The lightning summoned by a 100,000-year soul ring was far from ordinary. Shen Yan was instantly charred to a crisp. Tang Hao's old wounds were aggravated by the heaven's wrath lightning punishment, causing him to cough up blood. That's no ordinary soul skill. You really can conceal your spirit ring and its color. Tang Hao refused to believe he could be injured by a run-of-the-mill fifth soul skill. It had to be something far more potent than a 10,000, or even 100,000-year soul skill. Even a 100,000 soul skill could hardly have such power. You actually have twin spirits. But how could your second spirit be like this? Taken aback, Tang Hao paused his attack to question Chu Zhao. You figured out I have twin spirits. What do you think my second spirit is? You clearly know a lot about me. Who am I? Tang Hao's words revealed a wealth of information. What was certain was that Tang Hao had been aware of her background for over a decade. Her family must have inherited a mighty martial soul, passed down to almost all direct descendants, but it wasn't the Death Scythe or the Seed of Life martial soul she already possessed. What could it be? Chu Zhao immediately thought of the martial soul listed in the personal section of her system panel. It mentioned a martial soul called Ziweixing, but it hadn't awakened yet. Neither of her systems provided any further information. Want to know who you are? Keep competing in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament. If you make it to the finals, your family will naturally come looking for you. Tang Hao emphasized the word family. Anyone could tell that there was something sinister lurking behind his words. It sounded like the so-called family was actually Chu Zhao's death warrant. Tang Hao had always insisted that Chu Zhao brought danger to those around her. He must have feared that his beloved son would be caught in the crossfire, prompting him to ask Flanders to send Chu Zhao away. You sound like you're trying to discourage me from participating in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament. Are you worried I'll beat your precious son to a pulp, or even kill him on stage? Chu Zhao knew exactly how to hit a nerve. Despite being just a kid, she was so cocky that Jean Douluo couldn't help but shoot her pleading glances. Little ancestor, stop talking. I can't beat him. If he really wants to kill you, I can't stop him, even if I give it my all. Chapter 80, Killing Intent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Knock it off, kid. I can't beat him. If he really wants you dead, there's nothing I can do. Jean Douluo's eyes practically begged Chu Zhao to back down. Ignoring Tang Hao's murderous glare, Chu Zhao kept talking, her voice steady. I honestly don't know what I did to piss you off. Why are you so determined to kill me? Tang San's trying so hard to protect me. He obviously sees me as a good friend. You've tried to off me, like, a bunch of times now. Aren't you worried Tang San will hate you for it? Chu Zhao dared to be so bold for two reasons. First, she had her registration trump card. Second, and more importantly, Tang Hao hadn't attacked yet. He was too busy catching his breath. Tang Hao hadn't even touched his hammer. His old injuries were bad news, and that sky wrath thunder punishment hit him hard. He was already running on fumes, and that just about wiped him out. Look, nobody's a perfect parent. San's a good kid. I know him better than you do. No matter what I do, he'd never hate me, his own father. Besides, nobody has proof I killed you. As long as Tang San doesn't know it was me, I could even pin it on someone else to motivate him to get stronger. He might be sad for a while after you're gone, but he'll forget about you eventually. Tang Hao only talked about how to deal with Tang San after killing Chu Zhao. He never said why he wanted to kill her in the first place. Chu Zhao was at a loss for words. Why was Tang Hao so hung up on killing her? Had he figured out she was Yun Duan Yu and knew what she was up to? She had no clue and demanded an explanation. Do I really have to die? What's the big deal between us? Is it a killed your father kind of thing, or a stole your wife kind of thing? If I'm gonna die, at least let me know why. That this time, she expected Tang Hao to clam up, but he actually answered. If you want to blame someone, blame who your folks were. You're his kid, after all. Chu Zhao, huh? Seriously? You're just now figuring out who my parents were. When you first saw me, like, 10 years ago, why didn't you just off me then? Chu Zhao couldn't wrap her head around someone leaving a 3-year-old alone, then waiting until she was a teenager to decide to kill her. Because I never thought you'd live this long. Tang Hao gave her a straight answer. He had intended to kill her back then, but Chu Zhao was just a little kid, so young. When he was about to do it, he couldn't bring himself to kill a toddler, then he realized Chu Zhao was already badly hurt. Xinghun village was in the middle of nowhere, with no decent doctors. She wouldn't last 2 years, so he didn't do anything, figuring she'd die on her own and he wouldn't have to get his hands dirty, but after waking up, Chu Zhao had amnesia. As time went on, she got healthier and healthier, and those old injuries seemed to have healed all by themselves. Actually, you should be thanking San for being your friend. Otherwise, I would have taken you out when you were at Notting College. I had so much compassion, I actually kept you alive this long. Tang Hao's eyes flared with renewed killing intent. He'd finally caught his breath and gotten his old injuries under control. He wasn't the only one who'd been recovering. Chu Zhao and Jin Douluo had used the time to get back to fighting shape, especially Chu Zhao. The Life Rage soul skill was powerful, but it sucked up a ton of soul power. She'd used it without holding back, draining most of her energy. 5th soul skill, Wrath of Life. When it came to moves, anything that worked was good enough. Chu Zhao unleashed her 5th soul skill again, still going all out. This time, Tang Hao was the only one taking the brunt of the heavenly thunder. With no one to split the damage, the 5th soul skill hit Tang Hao again, twice as hard. Before, it had only affected Tang Hao's internal injuries, leaving his appearance untouched, but this time, the wrathful thunder from heaven struck, giving Tang Hao a very trendy new do, leaving him burnt to a crisp on the outside and still squishy on the inside. Oops. Sorry. Didn't expect I could actually hurt you. The most talented title Douluo. How does it feel to get hurt by a teenage girl like me? Tang Hao expressed his feelings to Chu Zhao in a language she understood, as the clear sky hammer slammed down, his red 9th soul ring blazed. If I were you, I wouldn't kill someone when they have an obvious weakness. Guess who's going down with me if I die? Is it your son Tang San, or the blue silver emperor hidden away in a cave? Chu Zhao was bluffing about that last part. She only knew he kept the blue silver emperor in a cave, but she didn't know exactly where. Even though she'd spent days searching every corner of the continent, she still hadn't been able to find the blue silver emperor plant. Tang Hao obviously cared about the blue silver emperor and Tang San. When he heard what Chu Zhao said, his eyes turned even bloodier, but he still stopped. How do you know about Yin? What did you do to her? That he didn't even mention Tang San, his mind was only on his wife. He's the kind of parent who makes you realize true love exists, and kids are just an accident. Tang San's a pretty sad case, but Chu Zhao didn't feel bad for him anymore. Tang Hao had tried to kill her too many times, and his words hinted at old family grudges. There was no way she and Tang San could still be friends. I haven't done anything yet, but who knows what might happen. I'm not a fan of being alone. If I die, I'm dragging a few people with me. Tang San and the Blue Silver Emperor seem like good choices. Chu Zhao wasn't strong enough to kill Tang Hao right then, but Tang Hao couldn't kill her either. Judging by the look on his face, he was probably going to keep chasing her, which was annoying just thinking about it. To scare him off, at least for now, Chu Zhao had to bring up the Blue Silver Emperor and Tang San. I've got people. If I want to, I can have eyes and ears all over the continent. You think you're so clever. Tang Hao was really worried about the Blue Silver Emperor. Besides him, nobody knew that the Blue Silver Emperor had left seeds and had been planted. Chu Zhao knew about it, and she even mentioned the cave, which made Tang Hao think the Blue Silver Emperor's location had been compromised. He spat out the words through gritted teeth. If anything happens to Ah Yin, I'll make sure you and every single one of your lackeys are buried with her.